is Rebecca Schissel-Marshall with Whole Body Upgrade, a podcast to help you get unstuck, feel better, and have more energy. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Whole Body Upgrade podcast. I want to begin, as we usually do, by welcoming in the great directions. I welcome in the great direction of the east, the south, the west, and the north. I welcome in the directions that are above and below, and the great direction that is within. I welcome in all the loving and helping, compassionate spirits that are of the light, and I ask our ancestors who have lived well and died well to support us. And I acknowledge that I'm in the land of the Creek in the Cherokee in what is now known as Athens, Georgia. Before we begin, I just want to mention that this is to be released. The day that this is released is actually on Indigenous Peoples Day. And because I use more indigenous methods, not more, but some indigenous methods, I want to note that. I want to make an awareness of that. And I would like you on this day, if you're listening to this, or even whatever day you're listening to this, I'd like you to engage in some education about Indigenous people of whatever location, of wherever you may live, and potentially even donate to the First Nations Development Fund or First Nations Development Institute. They are an organization that I follow and that I donate to regularly, and their mission is about strengthening Native American communities. And as a white woman, it is one of my own priorities to support Native communities. So I just want to put that out there for you and thank you in advance for going to read where the land, if you live in America or in Canada, what the land that you lived on, who originally owned that land, who lived there. And just take a moment to pause about that and read about how these indigenous cultures were really treated by colonialization. So now that I've mentioned that, I want to check in and see how you are. And I'll tell you how I am. I'll check in with myself too. I personally have been noticing a lot of turmoil in my life. And that has been interesting, challenging and interesting. So I have been personally going through a lot of health issues. And a few days after you hear this, I'm having a procedure that I am not really looking forward to. And part of my experience has been, I have been going to lots of different people to try to find an answer for my particular health experiences. So I've been going to doctors and naturopaths and other kind of healers, every other kind of healer I can think of, and really struggling with not being able to find an answer to what I'm experiencing. And I'm experiencing very specifically digestive issues. And it's been impacting not just my digestion, but a lot of different areas of my life. And it's been challenging. It's been really challenging. So it's really no fun. And it reminds me of 20 some odd years ago, how I kept looking for answers. And it seemed that no one had them. And even now, with all the knowledge and the training that I've had over those 20 years, it's really very frustrating. It's quite defeating to have this health issue that people don't seem to know what to do next, right? They kind of blow it off. Well, we've done these tests and there's nothing that's showing up. So I've been really knocked sideways by this struggle. On top of that, because of the digestive issues that I've been having, it means my wellness bodies are out of alignment. So it's not just the digestion, it's all the other pieces that are influenced as a result of it. And that really adds to the frustration. It's part of why I do what I do now. Really, that 20 some odd years ago, when I was frustrated with Western medicine and the lack of knowledge about nutrition and the lack of perspective of the root cause of many illnesses, really led me to today, to doing this. And as I'm going through this experience again, I'm seeing, unfortunately, that not much has changed. And here I am, once again, doing my own research, going to multiple traditions, trying to find answers that seem to be elusive. It's exhausting. Western medicine says that they can't see it, so it must be nothing. It must not be a big deal. It's nothing for them to worry about. But I know my body. Something isn't right, and I know to listen to my own messages. So I'm going through this process again and again, and I'm using the 5 wellness bodies to see what's out of alignment, what's happening physically, what's happening emotionally, mentally, energetically, and spiritually. I keep asking these questions for my own health. I ask, and then I pause, I experiment with something or contact someone to help me, and keep trying different things in order to see if I can get to the bottom of the difficulty, or at least to have a holistic perspective. I know eventually it will land, and I'll find out what's wrong. Right now, no. I don't have an answer. And yes, I am frustrated. I am super frustrated. I'm frustrated as all get out, as they say. I'm scared, I'm confused, and I'm really just so dang tired of not feeling well. So I keep looking. Sometimes I even remember my own words of wisdom that nothing has gone wrong. And sometimes that's more challenging. In the meantime, I have to be gentle and kind to myself. I'm canceling everything I can. I'm saying no at every turn. I'm listening deeply to myself on all levels of the wellness bodies. I'm going inward and evaluating how can I be as kind and compassionate to myself, no matter what. I'm even trying to this is a work in progress for me. I'm still trying to find out how I can be still, slow down, and sometimes practicing doing nothing. So sometimes, or most of the time, the answers aren't forthcoming. I have to sit with the uncomfortableness of not knowing, and that's okay. No matter what, I'm showing up for myself with compassion and love. I'm watching the process unfold with myself. I'm seeing what happens. I am acutely aware that my clients are going through something very similar. The struggle is real for me and for them. My body right now is suffering, and I can only do the best that I can do in this moment. And then in this moment, and then this moment, right? Each moment I have that opportunity to choose. Each moment is just another opportunity to show up for myself the best that I can. And that's what I want for you. Can you show up for yourself in the most compassionate way in this particular moment? can you bring it all into compassion? The part of you that is suffering, the part of you that wants something different, the part of you that wishes you could figure out how to lose weight or feel better or have more energy. If it feels hard, it's okay. Just notice. What does it feeling hard? What does that feel like? What does that look like for you? And if you can't do that, can you give yourself compassion for that too? It's all just one big practice. Nowhere to get, no particular end zone, although it feels like it, right? Like we want the result. We want to feel better. We want to have this physical problem solved. And what we can grow is just ripple after ripple of self-compassion. Really, it's the best place to hang out in this particular kind of a situation. So with all this self-compassion, then I or you can stop pushing of that, I have to figure this out, and get to a place of maybe, just maybe, some curiosity. You can start by asking these important questions about your 5 wellness bodies. So the first one is, what does my body need? Right? That's a big one. What does my body need? It might be rest. It might be changing, a little tweak. Like I was thinking yesterday, it seems like chocolate might be exacerbating. And if you know anything about me, I love chocolate. I use no sugar, dark chocolate, amazing. But my body was saying no. So I was listening. What does my body need? Maybe less chocolate or no chocolate. The second question is, what thoughts and emotions are here right now? The frustration, right, that I'm feeling, the thought about how am I going to be able to deal with this, right? I wanted to go to this baseball game with my son and I can't because of this. How am I going to do this, right? Those are the thoughts, and the emotions might be sadness, frustration, anger, maybe just even being exhausted, right? That can be an emotion too, that like depleted. The next question might be, is this energy, right? Does this have to do with energy? So for me, I was looking at, is this digestive issue? Is this energy that's mine? Is this an energetic, right? And I was feeling into that answer. The next question is, how can I ask my guides for help? I'm always talking to my guides. So I might ask my guides for help in identifying what the problem is, finding the right practitioner to help me, help in easing the symptoms, right? How can I ask my guides for help? So when we bring this self-compassion, we have a little more space, a little more room to ask these questions. Self-compassion leads to curiosity, and curiosity comes from a place of relaxation. It leads to relaxation. So the phrase I usually teach my students or my clients that I work with is, isn't that interesting? Right? Isn't that interesting? I'm feeling really frustrated and angry. Isn't that interesting? Right? To get really curious about it, to have that place of being the watcher, of being the witness. And it can really start to open up and be open to the possibility of what's going to happen next, right? Isn't it interesting that I'm really mad? Well, I wonder what I need, right? It could be like curious about, I wonder what I need, or I'm feeling really angry. I wonder, does that have to do with my frustration? Does that have to do with a physical problem, an imbalance in minerals, right? All of that can open up of, well, maybe I could try some more calcium, right? What happens next? So I'd love to ask a favor of you. I'd love for you to try it. Practice self-compassion and let me know what you notice. I'd love to hear about your health challenges or what health challenges you're undergoing or what areas in your life. You can use this in if you have a business or your job or your relationship, anything. You can use this same process to go through any challenge that you're having. So wherever you've been struggling, let me know how you're going to practice self-compassion and curiosity and these questions to help you in your 5 wellness bodies. Okay, friends. I am wishing you oodles and oodles of self-compassion and curiosity and feeling better. Thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't yet, I would love for you to rate and review this podcast and share it with a friend. All right, dear ones, take good care of yourself. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Whole Body Upgrade. If you'd like to learn more about working with me, you can visit me on Facebook or Instagram or on my website, CenteredYou, that's CenteredYou.com. See you on the next episode of Whole Body Upgrade.